take a seat now. Stories that make you say wow. Lessons learned and dreams we sow. Inspiration like the morning glow. Action sparked by a word so true. Transformation starts with what you do. Leaders speak and leaders guide, reshaping worlds from deep inside. Oh, TammyRenee, she's on the mic, sharing tales that'll change your life. Wave of change, leaders arise.
Come on in to the Wave of Change, where I am interviewing leaders who inspire action, sharing stories, giving tips, and dropping those gems. Come make some waves with us. Share, like, comment, ask a question if you dare. I am here. If you are here and you are catching the replay, make sure you hit what? Hashtag replay. My name is TammyRenee, and I am here to help you make change and take action in your life. Today, we are talking about purpose-driven living and meaningful actions. Let's drop some waves in the comments and welcome our next guest, Dr. John, author and speaker. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you, Tammy? How's everybody doing? To everybody listening right now, you all have greatness within you. Thank you for having me on your show, Tammy.
And thank you for, taking my invitation and coming on with me and having this great conversation we're about to have.
Absolutely. You are doing an amazing job.
Thank you. I'm trying to live up to, creating that foundation I wanted like you did. So with that being said, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Right. Thank you so much, Tammy. It's a pleasure and a privilege being here. And to all your listeners, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I am Dr. John Ughulu. I am an author and a speaker. I am also the founder of the John Ughulu Foundation. It is a platform that provides online coaching and mentoring services. Our website is johnughulu.com, like my first and last name, .com, JOHNUGHULU.com. And by the special grace of God, my long-term goal is to help 1 billion or more people find their purpose in life. And guess what? That's not the only thing about the goal. The beautiful part about that goal is that I have a specific date. I have a precise date that I would like to accomplish that goal of helping 1 billion or more people find their purpose. And that date is on or before the 31st of December, 2041. By the special grace of God, I have been blessed with platforms that can make that goal possible. In all, we give thanks to God. The platforms that I have been blessed with by the Almighty God, they're not mine, but I have just been chosen by God as a vessel to use those platforms to help people. Apart from the John Ughulu Foundation, by the special grace of God, I am the founder and president of Main Seed Christian University. It is a leadership university. So through those platforms, the university, my books, this is my most recent publication, Time Management for Leaders.
We need that one.
Time Management for Leaders. It is my recent publication. So with the school, the foundation, and my books, I believe God will do amazing things through me. And also for your platform as well. And all the podcasts, God will do an amazing work. I am a father. I am a man of God. I use all the tools that God has blessed me with to help other people identify their greatness. So it's a pleasure and a privilege being here. And for those of you who have not heard about Main Seed, that's the logo right there. I don't know if you have people who cannot see the video, who only have audio. It's Main Seed Christian University. Main Seed Christian University. We offer affordable and quality education, and our target audience are those busy adults who are very either with their family lives or with their careers, who currently just want to go and go that extra mile of getting a degree and adding a degree to their name. Yeah, it's online and very affordable. So yeah, by the grace of God, that's who I am, a simple man of God, using the gifts given to us, given to me by God, to help people identify their greatness. I always tell people that we are nothing but pencils in the hands of God.
We're nothing but what?
Pencils, pencils for writing.
Uh-huh.
So we just leave it to God to do the writing. We're the pencil. Hey, God use me, and
Ah.
that's what it is.
I like that analogy. I really like that because it could be switched or changed or arranged, but you know what? It's ultimately up to God, right? We try
That's
to
it.
go a different way, it's not going to work. It's going to look like scribble, scrabble, right? It's going to
That's
be
it.
confused.
Yes, we are the pencils, and he, the person who holds the pen or the
Hmm.
pencil is the one who controls the drawing. So,
Right.
so we are just the pencils in the hands of God, and God will definitely do an amazing work. He has been doing an amazing work, and we bless him for that.
Wow. So tell me, how did you get aligned with your purpose? How did you know your purpose was your purpose and align with it? What are some things you did, actions, or aha moments you had?
Right. So, for a lot of people, if I tell them I used to be a very shy person, sometimes they would find it hard because I'm always out there speaking, and so I used to be a very shy person, so shy that I couldn't even imagine myself doing what I do now. My level of shyness was at its peak, but I knew
Wow.
that I had a message inside of me because even
Mhm.
while I was a teenager, my friends used to always call me the inspirer. Yeah, I was always good at giving people hope. Whenever people came to me with um, maybe problems or challenges,
Mhm.
even if I wasn't having the solution to the problem at that moment, I would always tell them we will get it done, even without knowing. So I I knew I had a message inside of me, but the shyness was kind of limiting me. It was limiting me. I could only relate with the people who were in my circle, my family members. And
Mhm.
at some point, I realized that no, I needed to do something to get my message out, and the only way to do that was to try to overcome shyness. So what I did
Mhm.
was I found myself a mentor who I worked with closely, and he helped me overcome shyness. So I was able to, at some point, transition from shyness to public speaking. Now, the reason why I am saying this is because I know there are so many people out there who have a message within them. They have that gift of motivating people, of inspiring people, but they have that limiting belief. Now, if I, John, could transition from shyness to public speaking, it means any other person can do it. So
Mhm.
right now, I know that I didn't make a mistake by trying to overcome shyness.
Mhm.
So it's like it's a calling. When it's within you, you wouldn't rest until you will know no peace until you answer that call, right?
Right.
So I knew that message inside of me had to come out to inspire people, to motivate people. And right now I am microphone hungry. All I do is help people. Yes, all I do is I help people now, rise above limiting beliefs. Um, but one thing we must understand is that our calling is bigger than us. At the right time, you will find it. At the
Mhm.
right time, you will find it. Now, I'm not saying all this just to impress anybody, but just to reassure them that if I could overcome shyness to transition from a shy person to a public speaker, it means that man or that woman who's listening to me, that boy or that girl who's listening to me, can rise above their own limiting beliefs and step into their calling. So yeah, I realized my calling at a very young age, that I was good
Mhm.
at inspiring people and motivating people. It gives me joy. I enjoy being the light in darkness. I enjoy being, the voice of the voiceless. I enjoy being, giving people hope. That's it.
Yes.
I do it even if I don't get paid to do it. So
Yes.
yeah, it has always been within me. And my mom used to always tell me when I was much younger, she would always say, John, when I was pregnant with you, I used to always have this dream. And in this dream, I would see a tall, dark-skinned man dressed in suit, holding a microphone and speaking to a crowd. And whenever she said that, I would I would always smile and say, "Hey, mom, don't worry. I know your dreams do come to pass, but this particular one, no, this is a wrong dream." You know why? Because at that time I was struggling with shyness. You
Right.
know, yeah, I was struggling with shyness. So gradually, I think all those deposits from her in my subconscious mind, added or contributed to the whole process of me discovering my purpose. So
Uh-huh.
that's how it has been. So if I could do it, it means everybody who's listening to me right now who's struggling with one limiting belief or the other, it means it is possible for you. God
Yes,
has
it is.
yes, God has moved me from one level to another level on multiple occasions. At some point I dropped out from college, but I realized that I needed to go back to school. So I went
Mm-hmm.
back, I started all over, and I transitioned from a college dropout to a PhD. I went back, got my bachelor's, my master's, my PhD, and now I
Wow.
own a university. So
Wow.
yeah, it was all as a result of discovering my purpose, right?
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this before we move too fast. I'm really
Mm,
interested about the shyness that you say you had.
mm,
I am an introvert, but I don't consider myself shy.
mm.
So what was like an obstacle that made you step back and realize that you had to do this? Or can you remember a time when you wish that, oh my God, I wish I wasn't shy so that I could do this? Either or, it's a little something
Yes,
behind that.
yes, yes. So basically, like I said, I knew I had a message inside of me, but it was limited. My motivational message, my ability to help people identify their strength was within me. But I noticed that it was only the people who were close to me that were benefiting from that because I was free with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew there were people outside of my inner circle who needed to hear my story, the people who I needed to reach out to inspire, to motivate, to
Mm-hmm.
encourage. But I just didn't know how to do it until, you know, Rumi said, whatever you're seeking is seeking you, right? That's what we
Mm-hmm.
call the law of attraction, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
law of vibration. But the law of vibration happens before the law of attraction. I knew I
Mm-hmm.
had a message. I knew I had a limiting belief, right? And that
Right.
limiting belief was stalling the whole process. But I never gave up because I knew that was the work for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was the work. I knew that was my assignment. But being able to communicate that assignment, that gift, was necessary, but there was a limiting belief. So I left
Mm-hmm.
myself on that vibration that, one day God will make it happen. So I focused on other things, but I left myself on that vibration and God
Okay.
made it happen. Yes, it was just meant to be. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, my mom was always depositing all those things in my mind. And
Uh-huh.
that's the power of speaking, because words are
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Yeah, words are powerful. So probably words from my mom and just life.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like what you did is you embedded that belief in your mind and in your energy and your soul, but you didn't get stuck there and you didn't dwell on it or wonder when is it going to happen. You kept moving forward, but
Mm,
keeping that belief seed in your mind and in your heart, knowing that it will happen at the right time.
absolutely. And that's exactly how it worked. And I always encourage people to not give up you know,
Mm-hmm.
when they identify their gift. Sometimes you could identify your gift, but you might not have the resources, or you might not be
Right.
at the
Mm-hmm.
right place at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to just keep having it at the back of your mind that one day you
Mm-hmm.
will step into that calling, and keep getting busy with life, but
Yes.
never
Yes.
get your mind off it, because the mind is powerful. It's a very powerful tool. Louis P said, when your mind is made up, you become unstoppable.
I love that.
There- yeah, there's absolutely nothing more
Mm-hmm.
powerful than a made up mind. All right, just have
Right.
it at the back of your mind that, look, I must step into my calling. Now, we must understand, we should be able to differentiate between a calling and our job.
Mm-hmm. So tell
Yeah.
me, what is the difference?
Yes,
Because some
basically,
people will take their calling as their job, but what is the difference?
yeah, you retire from one, but you don't retire from one. So yeah,
Ah,
your job, there is an expiry date. Everything has an expiry date in life.
uh-huh.
Even we will die at some point, right? Yeah, but your job, there is a retirement age,
Mm-hmm.
and people look forward to retirement.
Mm-hmm.
With your calling, there's no retirement. It's just like the bird, right? The birds were built, they were created to fly, and the birds fly until they die. That's their calling. And the more the birds fly, the more they get energy from it. They get more energy from it.
Mm.
The same thing with the fish. The fish was built to swim till it dies without even attending any swimming lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's natural. That's what they were built for, to swim, fend for themselves, swim till they die. No swimming classes. It's natural,
Mm-hmm.
it's innate. The same thing with the bird. The bird doesn't go to flight school, it learns, it's innate, it goes. But humans are the only species on earth that do not step into their calling from birth, because the world is built in such a way that we get distracted from our calling and we focus on a job. I'm not saying the job
Mm-hmm.
is not good, but the job has a retirement stage. The calling is till you die. Even if you don't get paid to do it, you enjoy it. You gain energy. You get refreshed when you're doing it, because it's natural, it's innate, it comes from within you. It gives you joy, right? So I tell people, when your vision is for you and your immediate family, that's an ambition. That could be a job. At some point, you could retire. But when your calling is meant for other people, then that's a calling. When your vision is for other people, that's a calling. So you must be able to differentiate all this. What I am doing now, is it for my benefit? If it's for your benefit, it's a job. That's not your calling. Your calling is to benefit other people.
I
Just
get
like
it.
the orange tree, or any tree right there, right? Every seed has a tree, and the tree has fruits, and the fruit has seeds, and the seeds have trees, and the trees have fruit. But
Mm-hmm.
the tree never eats the fruit.
Okay.
The tree goes through all the stress, it produces the fruit for other people, for the consumption of others.
Uh-huh.
That's its calling.
Yes.
Our
So,
calling is a seed that has to
uh-huh.
grow, that has to turn to a tree and produce fruits, but we don't eat the fruit. It's meant
Mm-hmm.
to nourish others. But the more we nourish others, the more we get blessed.
Uh-huh. And your calling, it seems like, based on your analogy, is that it keeps producing long after the tree is gone.
That's
It's
it.
going to keep producing and having an effect on everyone else.
That's it. It nourishes others. It's meant for others. What
Mm-hmm.
is meant for you is from somebody else's calling, while your
Mm-hmm.
calling is meant for others. So remember, when God gave man a divine assignment, it says, "Go into the world and multiply, go and
Mm-hmm.
dominate." God made man dominate the earth and every other thing, but not human being. God gave an assignment for man to go dominate his own domain, which means when you discover your calling will make room for you. When you discover your calling will attract people to you. You wouldn't have to go
Mm-hmm.
after people. It will
Hmm.
naturally attract people and you will dominate that domain that your calling is meant to dominate.
Wow, I love the way you put that, and it makes so much sense. Like, if you think about, like, let's just say a chef. I don't know why I like to use a chef for some reason. Maybe because I need a chef in my life.
Oh
But
yeah.
let's take a chef, for example. A
Mm,
chef calling could be making this presentation of this food and nourishing the body and bringing smiles and giving nourishing into the body, right? But you always hear a chef does not like to go home and cook.
yes, that's it. It's for others. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're that thing you're passionate about is to nourish others, to bless others, that's
Mm-hmm.
a calling. Without, like, you can do it even when you know you are not getting paid for it. You still get
Mm-hmm.
excited to do it.
Yes.
You still get energized. You know, when you're talking about it, people will be like, "Oh, come on, you don't get tired about this thing," and it's not, you know,
Right,
that
right.
call.
I get it because I'm the same way. I'm going to just use I love being in my calling. Let's use that. I won't use the work word.
Okay.
I love being in my calling because I can just sit here and do so much and never stop. I never get tired. It
That's
makes me feel good, even if I'm doing it for 10 hours.
yes.
I'm like, well, where did time go? I guess I got to get some sleep, you know?
That's
And
it.
and it's interesting because I want people to know that your calling doesn't just happen. It does take a practice to refine that
Yeah,
calling and to actually be able to understand your calling yourself. You got to go through the trials and errors, right?
that's correct.
I've been in my journey for 3 years now. And there's been times when I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Oh my God. Whereas when I'm trying to make a business out of it, even though I would do what I needed to do and I
Mhm.
loved it, I didn't understand the business side of it until later because I had to understand what I was given, right? I had to
Yes,
understand what my calling was. Oh, I love
yes,
that. Thank
yes.
you for those
That's
tips. I hope y'all writing these tips down out there. I hope y'all getting these gems.
yes, yes. That's the thing is, because most humans focus more on the money part of it, and at some point they miss it
Mm-hmm.
because the calling is larger than just that your job. There is no get rich quick scheme from it.
Mm-mm. I do feel like you have to have a solid foundation.
That's it. So you must go
Mhm.
through the character building phase. You must go
Mhm.
through all the trials, all the tribulations, all the challenges. You must go through the process. Just like the tree, the seed, the orange. I always love to use orange trees. Why? Because when I was growing up, we had an orange tree. So I still know one day I'll create an orange plantation. I love orange trees.
Oh
So I love
wow.
to use this. It's just like the seed. There is no, there's no, it has to go through the process. When you put the seed in the soil, it has to die, first of all. It has to, be decomposed before it can bring forth anything,
Mm.
So that dying period of that seed, That's part of the growth process. You must go through those
Mm-hmm.
challenges. And when it dies, it first of all brings out its root and it grows downward, right? It's all stressful to it. After a while, it starts trying to come out of the soil. That's another, work on its own. So there's
Mm-hmm.
no get rich quick scheme from it. You must go through the process. And that's where a lot of people lose it. That's where so many people lose it because they want money. They need to pay their bills. But I always encourage people, you need a job while you're
Mm-hmm.
developing your calling, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
your job has to be your bank for the calling. The calling doesn't just yield any profits
Right.
immediately. It's a while. It takes years and years. But while you're doing that, you need a job. Your job
Mm-hmm.
teaches you the business side of it. Your job teaches you, you know, organizational
Mm-hmm.
skills, how to write policies, how to,
That
you know,
part.
yeah, how to write policies, how to build a business, how to have that team spirit, how to,
Mm-hmm.
it helps you
How to
network.
lead.
That's it, how to lead. So you
Mm-hmm.
must go through that process. But the calling, the moment you identify it, you will never get tired of it. It's gonna be trying to pull you out of your job because you are enjoying it, but it's not paying you that much. It cannot pay your bills, right? But you
Right.
love it. It gives you
Right.
energy. It gives you joy. It makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's how you know you have found your calling.
Yeah. And that was one of my struggles, stepping into my calling, because I knew I had a calling to speak. And it took me years to actually share my voice. I would say more, not more so because I was shy, but
Mm,
more so because of the expectations of the family. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a minute to even want to share that because of the fear of what the family would say. But once
yes.
I got past that, that was part of me breaking the roots, right? That would be
Yes.
me breaking those roots, setting that foundation.
Yes.
Um, as I got more and more into it, yeah, I wasn't, and even at the beginning, money was never a, a driver for me. Money was not the driver. It was what I was inspired to do, what I
Yes.
can inspire other people to do, seeing the light up of other people's faces. That was where my joy came from. And again, I could do it for free, but because I work so many hours doing what I do, I had to turn it into more of proportions of it into a business so that I could, because I couldn't see myself going back to work and giving up this time because I had spent so much time into it.
Mm,
And I did try to go for a job, and this is how good God is. He's like, it's not time for you to get a job because it's time for you to step out. And I got scammed
mm,
trying to get a
mm.
job because I was in that mode of, okay, I've been doing this for so many years. I have to, create some income. And as soon as I tried to start getting a job, I literally got scammed. And I was like, okay, that's my sign. Step back because what I got going on is about to shine for me.
Yes. That's how it works. You will
Uh-huh.
know when it's time for you to stay away from a job. You will
Mm-hmm.
know because the pull from your calling would always at some point affect your job, your performance at your job, because you would realize that you can
Yeah.
put in longer hours on your calling and you will
Mm-hmm.
still be happy. You will be fully energized, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna suck the energy from you from the job side. And when the time is right, you would know. You would
Wow,
know.
yes. So why is taking action so important to living on purpose in your
Yeah,
calling?
yeah, because action is the main catalyst. Action is the main ingredient. It
Mm-hmm.
is the main ingredient. First of all, everything starts as an idea. Even the
Mm-hmm.
greatest inventions in the world today, they were once ideas. And there is a quote that I love to always use for this one. It's a quote by Greg Reed, Reid. That's his last name, Greg Reed. It
Uh-huh.
says, a dream written down with timelines becomes a goal, right? A
Mm-hmm.
goal broken down into little steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed with action makes your dreams come true. So you see,
Mm-hmm.
it starts from having a vision. And when
Mm-hmm.
you have a vision, it will remain a fantasy if you do not write it down. I always go,
Mm-hmm.
I just got my 2025 journal, right?
Ah.
Yeah, so you must write it down so it will be clear. Even the Bible says where there's no vision, the people perishes. And it has to be clear. So you write it down so it will be clear, right? With timelines, just like my goal. My goal is to ensure that I help 1 billion or more people find their purpose on or before the 31st of December 2041. So it has to be clear. I had
Mm-hmm.
that goal in 2021. So it was a
Mm.
20-year goal. So that's why it's 2041, right?
Okay.
Right. So, and because it's a large goal, helping 1 billion people, that's the large one. That's how the goal is supposed to be. Big ones. You cannot execute those goals without breaking it down into little steps,
Mm-hmm.
actionable steps, right? And my steps are I have a podcast where I can reach out to thousands and thousands of people. I have a school where I can reach out to thousands and thousands of people. Not just
Mm-hmm.
I have books. Now, my books, I write these books. I don't rely on the sales from Amazon or wherever I sell them. These are courses on their own in schools.
Mm.
In schools, schools are going to take these ones, add them to their curriculum, right? So
Mm-hmm.
those are my little steps, right? But without that main ingredient, which is action, nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
So action is what would make you say, now I need to act on my little plans, which is create a podcast, start reaching out to schools and see if they can add my books to their curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
And um, you know, the non-profit, those are actionable items. If you do not
Mm-hmm.
act on them, your vision, your goal, your plans will be wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
it's
I
so
want to
easy.
Yeah, I
It's,
want to share a valuable lesson that I learned based on what we're talking about.
mhm,
So, the action part, and it's about taking action. So,
right.
you know how they say, build it and they will come?
Yes.
Well, I don't use that anymore because I believe if you build it and you don't take action, they will not come.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about build it, I always say build it and they will not come. You got to build it, act, and then they'll come.
That's
Because
it.
I did that. I built so many businesses thinking, oh my God, everybody's going to love this. Oh my God, everybody's going to want this. But I just built it. I didn't actually go out there and take the action to bring the people in.
I agree with you. I have done the same thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
part of the process. It's part
Mm-hmm.
of the process. At least now you know better. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
makes you know better is because you acted.
Mm-hmm.
So action is all about momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Action is what would make you fail and learn and fail again and learn again and fail again and learn until you get it right.
That's
Now, I
right.
don't, I don't even, I don't, when I'm writing books, I don't bother about making it an Amazon bestseller or this
Mm-hmm.
bestseller. No, because on those platforms, even though those platforms are good, it's gonna take a while for
Mm-hmm.
the books to get out there, right? And when I don't want a situation whereby I write books and people just buy them and they don't read them. That's my biggest fear. I don't want that. So
Mm.
I'm not interested in just selling books, having the numbers. No. So, but
Mm-hmm.
my books are courses incorporated into curriculums of schools, right? So I know that when this book gets into the hand of the buyer, that person is going to read it. You see that? That person is going to read it. Not just read it,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to take tests on that book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Right.
my goal. That's my goal. So action is what will teach you. Initially, I was all about, oh, Amazon bestseller. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got all that, but right now, because I was taking constant action, I was learning, improving. I am still not where I want to be.
Right.
I'm still acting. It's the action that
Mm-hmm.
keeps the momentum going. I'm still learning every day, right? So
Mm-hmm.
right now, if we only have 3 schools that have incorporated my materials into their curriculum, I still have thousands of more schools, not just in the United States. Schools in Africa need to incorporate my books. They need to read my books. Schools in Australia, they need to read my books. You know, all the
Mm-hmm.
continents, they need to read it. So it's the action that would
Of
make
getting
me
it moving.
keep growing, keep growing. So action is the most important thing. You don't need to start perfect. Vince
Right.
Lombardi said, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can surely catch excellence. So action,
Mm.
start imperfectly and keep growing.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Let me ask you. You had a learning lesson on your survey that you filled out for me, and I want to ask you about that. And it said, your learning lesson is we are all conceived in the womb and still someday end up in the tomb. But what mothers what matters is living a life on purpose. Tell me
Yeah.
about that and how did you bring that up?
Yeah. Like I said, words are powerful. Public speaking is a skill. Public speaking requires you to constantly educate yourself. And in the process of accepting that calling of public speaking, you get exposed to different things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's that quote is my favorite. That was a quote from my book. It
Okay.
summarizes life in that quote. It says, every human being was conceived in the womb and will someday end up in the tomb. But what matters is how we live our lives from the day we were born to the day we die, right? That's a life of purpose. It means we need to discover our purpose. So that quote right there sums it up for me. That's why it's my favorite quote.
And
I
that's
like
your
it.
quote.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Every human was conceived in the womb and will someday
Mm-hmm.
end up in the tomb. But what matters is how we live our lives between the womb and the tomb. It's my
Wow.
favorite. Yes, I love it.
I love that. I love it too. I love it too. And it really puts things into perspective. Like, we're all going to be gone. What are you going to do in between? What are you
Exactly.
going to accomplish in between? Who are you going to affect in
E-
between?
exactly. And that's where the 5 questions that helped me identify my calling comes in. And I'd like to share those 5 questions with
Oh, we
your
would love
audience.
to hear those 5 questions.
Yeah, these are questions that I got from my late mentor, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. May his soul rest in peace, continue to rest in peace. Now, those questions changed my life. And I want to share right now with your audience. And I believe that somebody would discover their purpose by, figuring out the answers to these questions. There are 5 questions. The first question is, when we're looking to find our purpose, the first question is, who am I? Who am I? Now, these questions are easy questions. Or rather, they sound easy. But what we've come to realize, what studies have shown, is that some people could discover the answers to the 5 questions within 1 week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, some within months, some within years. And some people might not even be able to figure out the answer to these questions their whole lives, right? It means they will never discover their purpose, right? But it doesn't matter how long it takes. Once you can figure out the answers to those questions, your life will change. The same way my life changed. The first
Wow.
one is, who am I? When you know who you are, that's the beginning of identifying your purpose. And the second question is, where am I from? You need to know where you're from. The third question is, why am I on earth? And the fourth question is, what can I do? And the fifth question is, where am I going? The answers to those 5 questions changed my life. The answers to those 5 questions will change whoever is listening that has currently or at this moment has not identified their calling. If you can figure out the answers to those questions, your life will change. The first one is, who am I? Who are you? Who are you? It took me a while to figure out who I am, but right now I know who I am. I am a morale booster. That's who I am. So you need to know who you are, not your job that you do. Who are you? John, I am a morale booster. That's who I am. The second one, where am I from? I am from the Most High God. I am a person of faith. So, where are you from? We're not talking about what state or what country you're from. Your spiritual background. I serve an ever living God. I was made in the image and likeness of God. Then the third question is, why am I on earth? I am on earth to serve, my gift to the world, to lead, to influence, and to impact the earth. That's why I am on earth. Those are the assignments God has given to me. It took me a while to figure it out, to serve my gift, because God gave me a gift. He gave me seeds of greatness. So I know why I'm on earth, to serve my gift to many, to lead, because when you serve your gift for a long time, you will automatically become a leader in that domain. And when you lead well, automatically it comes with influence, which is the third assignment. Influence means you're asking people to abandon what they already know to follow what you want to show them. But you will not safely say you want to influence people when you've not served, you've not understood leadership properly, right? So you want to serve, understand your domain, lead in your domain, then influence people. And when you influence people, the fourth will be impact. You will leave an impact. So that's what I am on earth to do, to serve, to lead, to influence, and to impact lives, right? Then what can I do? That's the fourth question. That's where your skills come in. I'm good at motivating people. That's it. I love to motivate people. That's me. It's simple. And where am I going? To help billions and billions of people find their purpose in life. That's where I'm going. And leaving a legacy. These are my legacies. These ones, these books. This recording that we're doing now, it's going to live longer than us. Yes.
Yes.
So constantly speaking, recording on podcasts, leaving messages, both video messages, audio messages, books. Those are the legacies. I always tell people that legacy is not necessarily what you leave behind for people, but it is what you leave behind in people.
Mm.
The real estate will
I'm about to
dilapidate.
write that one down.
Yeah, the real estate, the houses, if you don't take care of them, they will dilapidate,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you leave properties for your children, they could end up not needing it. They could sell it, and that's it. It's
Mm-hmm.
gone, right?
Right.
But what you leave behind inside of people, in their heart, in their soul,
Mm-hmm.
is what matters. What you
Mm.
taught people, when you mentor people, that stays forever. That's legacy.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of contrary to the old saying, what is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, because
That
words stay with you forever.
words stay with you forever. That's why
So
we
they were,
we
look,
we
they was
have to
teaching us.
constantly, yeah, we have to constantly be on podcasts. Now, imagine if I was still shy.
Right.
So imagine if I was still shy. Probably I would have written books, maybe. But right now, even after my time on earth is up, when my time on earth is expired, my children, generations to come, the leaders I have mentored, the people I have brought up, they'll still say, hey, let me go listen and watch this funny man speak.
Yes.
They'll still hear my voice. They'll
Yes.
still see me smile as if I'm still with them. That's it.
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's my calling. And if we fail to identify our calling, it is a sin. You know why? Because when you don't identify your calling, when you don't take action and identify your calling, guess what you're doing? You're depriving generations of what they should have gained from you, because your
Mm.
calling is not for you. Your calling is for others. You need to learn, nurture, develop your calling, and transfer to the next generation. So if you do not identify it, if you do not take the right action and identify it, that's a sin, because you are depriving generations of what they should have learned from you.
And you said, do you believe everyone has a calling?
Everybody has a calling.
Mhm.
It's like asking if every bird was born to fly, or every
Mhm.
fish was born to swim. That's their calling. Guess what? Every seed, every seed is
Mhm.
meant to produce and be fruitful.
Mhm.
That's it. Natural. And guess what? Humans are the only species that never, sometimes never, get to their full capacity, or their full potential. Why? Because God gave us willpower. So the willpower is the major problem. The
Mhm.
willpower is what makes us disobey God. The willpower is what gives us the ability to say, you know what, this is what I was made to do, but I want to do this. And we end up not living to our fullest potential. So everybody was given a seed of greatness inside of
Mhm.
us. Everybody has a seed of greatness, but not everybody uses the willpower to identify it. That's why they say some people some people are dead men or dead women walking,
Mhm.
because they die when you haven't found your purpose. You're as good as dead.
Mm.
Some people die at age 25, but they don't get buried until they turn 70 or 75. A man or a woman who has not identified their calling is a dead man or a dead woman walking.
Mm. Just going through life.
That's it. Because you're
Wow.
depriving people of what they should have gained from you.
Mhm. We're all here. It sounds like we're all here to teach each other something.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. To serve our gift to many, to lead others, to influence people positively, and to leave a legacy.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I hope you guys are getting some great tips on this. I hope you wrote down those 5 tips he gave us to identify your purpose. This is some great information we're getting in here tonight, you know? So before we leave, though, I want you to tell us a little bit about your foundation and what does your foundation serve? How does your foundation serve the community?
So basically, we provide online coaching and mentoring services. Since inception, we've been posting motivational quotes on a daily basis. Quotes that can help people activate their reticular activating system. It helps them ignite the reticular activating system. It helps them identify who they are. It helps them break the patterns that can stop them from achieving their greatness. So we've been posting motivational quotes every day for years through podcasting. We do coaching and mentoring. So basically, it's not just, when we talk about foundation, charity foundation, what comes to mind is just, giving out food, giving out clothes, but remember something. When you give somebody who is at the, a low place in their life, or at a challenging situation, when you give them food, you give them money, you give them clothes, and you do nothing to change their mindset, you haven't really helped them. You haven't really helped them. So we are not focusing on giving people food, clothes, shelter. No, we're focusing on mindset development.
Yes.
Because with the right mindset, you can change the world.
That reminds me of the saying, something about give a man a fish and basically you do a disservice, but teach him how to fish.
Yes.
Then yes. That's what that reminds me of.
That's it. That's basically what we do. Sometimes when I tell people that's all we do, they find it challenging to understand, because they're used to, hey, go out there, give out food, give out shoes. No, mindset. Right now, the world needs more growth mindset activators right now.
Than anytime.
Yes.
Than anytime.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I thank you for coming on here and sharing your wisdom with us. But before we go, I would like for you to share how we can find you, how others can find you, and give us a last remark before you end.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope I was able to inspire somebody today. That's what I do for a living, through the Almighty God. Now, if you want to, reach out to me, you can follow me on Facebook. My first and last name, John Ughulu, John. That's John. Last name, it's Ughulu. It's Ughulu. And my website is johnughulu.com. It's easier to reach out to me via social media. And I want you all to know that if you know anybody who is thinking of getting education, getting a degree, we offer scholarships, and we can help them get them approved for the scholarships. It's affordable, $48 per credit hour. Our goal is to make sure everybody has access to quality education. Reach out to me if you know anybody who's thinking of like getting mindset coaching, or has questions they want to ask on how to develop a growth mindset. Reach out to me on social media. Follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I'm right there for you.
That's a great offer. That's a great offer, because there's no better offer than mindset work. No better author.
Yes.
So I want to thank you, Dr. John, for coming in. I hope everyone out there got a morale boost today and gained some great information. We'll see you next week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Direct wisdom, slow pours like molasses. Legendary queens and the bosses, no glasses. Tammy microphone, fire she embraces. Stories reshape, no trace of stasis.